Logic is a fundamental and essential branch of philosophy and reasoning that plays a crucial role in various aspects of human thought and decision-making. It is the study of valid reasoning, inference, and argumentation. Logic provides a framework for evaluating and assessing the soundness of arguments, making it a vital tool in philosophy, mathematics, science, and everyday life. Rationalism is a philosophical school of thought that emphasizes the role of reason and intellect in acquiring knowledge and understanding the world. Logic, as a method, is closely associated with rationalism because it is through logical reasoning that rationalists seek to establish and justify their beliefs and principles. Rationalists believe that reason and logical analysis are the primary means of attaining knowledge and truth. They argue that certain fundamental truths and principles can be known a priori, which means independently of empirical experience. This is in contrast to empiricism, which emphasizes the importance of sensory experience in gaining knowledge. In summary, logic is a fundamental tool in the rationalist's toolkit, enabling them to reason and deduce truths and principles independent of sensory experience, and to construct coherent philosophical systems grounded in reason and intellect. Logic means a theoretical definition occurs whenever we try to describe all entities or examples of a particular type, thing, or concept. They usually appear in philosophy or science, and are probably the most difficult to fully understand. There are lots of key scholars like Aristotle, ancient Greek philosopher who is considered to be the founder of logic, and whose work, Logic, had a profound influence on the development of logic, Immanuel Kant, German, whose work in the field of logic had a profound influence on modern philosophy and epistemology. Deductive reasoning strictly follows the rules of logic, so that the conclusion is true, which guarantees the accuracy of logic. Deductive reasoning is used to analyze and solve problems, especially in science, engineering, and mathematics. Critical thinking enables people to better identify logical errors and thinking conclusions, improve the quality of thinking. For example, only when fertilizer is sufficient, the dish will grow well. Inductive reasoning, or inductive logic, is a type of reasoning that involves drawing a general conclusion from a set of specific observations. Some people think of inductive reasoning as bottom-up logic, because it involves widening specific premises out into broader generalizations. I will say that inductive logic or reasoning is conducting a conclusion from a specific observation to a general statement or claim. There are some examples. Premise 1, my mom likes reading books. Premise 2, my teacher who is a mother likes reading books, too. Premise 3, my friend's mom also likes reading books. Argument, mothers like reading books. Premise 4, there is no mother on other planets. Conclusion, mothers on this planet like reading books. Example B, Premise 1, I get educated. Premise 2, my friends get educated. Premise 3, my father got educated. Argument, everybody gets educated in my country. Premise 4, my friend from another country gets educated. Conclusion, everyone will get educated on this planet. Abductive reasoning, also known as inference to the best explanation, is a form of logical reasoning that looks to the most likely hypothesis to explain something. I will say that abduction is logical reasoning while thinking backward and giving the best explanation and inferences. It is usually related to our daily experiences or intuitive sense. There are some examples. Example A, let's say there is a hot bowl of soup and some fresh dish on the table, then I conduct a conclusion that the owner of the meal is going back to finish his or her meal soon. Example B, let's say there is a skinny girl, then I conclude that she eats less or gets sick. A heuristic is a problem-solving method or decision-making strategy that is not based on strict logic or complete information, but relies on experience, rules, and intuition to solve a problem using minimal information. Heuristic methods are often used to make quick decisions when faced with complex problems without the need for complete information or in-depth analysis. These methods may not always find the optimal solution, but they can usually find a good enough solution in a reasonable amount of time, and I think heuristics can help people make decisions in complex, uncertain, or time-constrained situations, but they also need to be used with caution, as they can lead to solutions that are not entirely accurate or feasible. Examples: heuristics are widely used in a variety of fields, including computer science, psychology, economics, decision science, and problem-solving in everyday life. Heuristic approaches in AI are based on cognitive science principles around how humans think. In addition, heuristic algorithms in AI enable the system to generate approximate solutions rather than exact solutions. Heuristics do not necessarily provide a cheaper solution. Instead, methods that do not overestimate the cost of achieving an outcome are called acceptable heuristics. This is an important feature of heuristic algorithms to ensure the optimality of the solution. At a basic level, acceptable heuristics simplify the original problem by reducing constraints. What is fallacy? In philosophy, fallacy refers to an error in logic or argumentation, usually in reasoning, argumentation, or debate, which leads to invalidity or discredit of an argument. A fallacy is an error in thinking or speech that can mislead people into accepting an incorrect conclusion or point of view. So, we have two different branching points. First one is formal. Formal fallacy is a pattern in which reasoning is invalid due to a flaw in its logical structure that can be skillfully expressed in a standard logical system, e.g. propositional logic. Second one is non-formal. An informal fallacy is an incorrect argument in natural language. The source of the error may lie not only in the form of the argument, as in the case of formal fallacies, but also in its content and context. Ad hominem. Ad hominem is a fallacy where an argument attacks the character or personal traits of an individual making the argument, rather than addressing the substance of the argument itself. It's a way to discredit the person making the argument rather than engaging with the argument's content. Example: Person A: I believe that we should invest more in renewable energy sources to combat climate change. Person B: well, you're just a tree-hugging environmentalist. Your opinion doesn't count. B. Red herring. A red herring fallacy occurs when an irrelevant or distracting topic is introduced into an argument to divert attention away from the original issue. The new topic may be related to the discussion but is not addressing the central point of the argument. Example: Person A: we need to focus on improving our education system to better prepare our children for the future. Person B: that's important, but what about the economy? We need to fix the economy first. C. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is not a fallacy in the same sense as ad hominem or red herring. It's a cognitive bias that affects the way people process information. It refers to the tendency to favor information that confirms one's existing beliefs or preconceptions while ignoring or dismissing contradictory evidence. Example: a person likes a star so much that he completely ignores any negative news or news about the star. He only focuses on the positive side of the star. To support the star even more strongly. D. Appeal to authority. Meaning: appeal to authority is a special type of inductive argument fallacy, often expressed in the form of statistical syllogism. Although sometimes certain kinds of appeals to authority can be powerful inductive arguments, such arguments are often misused. Example: topic: discuss global climate change. Argument: climate change is real, a famous movie star said it in an interview. E. Appeal to ignorance. Meaning: is a logical fallacy that claims that because a thing has not been proven false, it is true, or the claim that because a thing is not proven to be true, it is false. In the end, just because evidence doesn't exist doesn't mean evidence exists or doesn't exist. Example: so far no one has proved that ghosts do not exist, but ghosts do exist. So far no one has been able to prove that there are no aliens, so aliens must exist. F. Appeal to emotion. Meaning: appeal to emotion, argumentum ad passiones, is a form of informal fallacy that seeks to win an argument by manipulating people's emotions rather than valid logic. Example, Xiao Hong saw Xiao Ming eating dog meat, so came forward to rebuke. How can you eat restaurant dog meat? The dog is cute, like a child, you have the heart to hurt the child. Xiao Hong committed the fallacy of appealing to emotion. G. Slippery slope, meaning, the slippery slope fallacy is an argument that claims an initial event or action will trigger a series of other events and lead to an extreme or undesirable outcome. The slippery slope fallacy anticipates this chain of events without offering any evidence to substantiate the claim. Nikolopoulos, 2023. I will say that the slippery slope is a fallacy that draws a big bad event with the beginning of a small incident without any evidence. Examples: A. Someone claims that if I don't pass today's math exam, then I will not participate in calculus study, then I will not pass the calculus exam, then I cannot fulfill the criteria of getting my graduate certificate or diploma. Finally, I will not graduate with my bachelor study. It starts with a small incident, then after a series of incidents, he or she concludes a big bad event. The above argument looks like is valid but without any evidence, so the conclusion is unsound. B. My mother said if you play video games your time will lost without feeling, then your study time will get occupied and you cannot focus on learning, then you will fail your exam, and finally you cannot enter college. H. Straw man, meaning, straw man, in this context refers to a logical fallacy, which can also be translated as the straw man down fallacy. This fallacy is characterized by twisting or misrepresenting the opponent's point of view in such a way that it becomes easy to attack or refute. In the straw man fallacy, the arguer creates a simplified or weakened version of the opponent's point of view and then attacks that version, rather than actually dealing with the opponent's actual point of view. Examples: Person A. I think we should look at reforming the healthcare system so that more people have access to affordable healthcare. Person B. Using the straw man fallacy. So you're saying do away with all private health insurance and move to full socialist healthcare? It's a disaster for the economy. In this example, Person B misinterprets Person A's point of view to be in favor of fully socialist healthcare, while Person A simply offers to consider reforming the healthcare system without specifically mentioning abolishing all private health insurance. Person B's response attacks an exaggerated and distorted view, not Person A's actual view. J. The either/or, meaning, this fallacy occurs when someone presents a situation as if there are only two options when there are actually more possibilities. Example: either you're for us or against us. This implies that there are only two choices, but in reality there may be a range of middle ground. K. The gamblers, meaning, this fallacy is based on the false belief that past events can influence future events, especially when chance or probability is involved. Example: I've lost my first 5 bets, so I should win this one. This belief that previous losses increase the likelihood of winning is a fallacy. L. Middle ground, meaning, this fallacy occurs when a compromise is suggested as the most reasonable solution between two opposing positions, even when one of the positions is fundamentally wrong. Example: some people think climate change is real, others think it's a hoax. Let's compromise and say it's partially true. This fallacy assumes that the truth is in the middle, when in fact one position may be completely correct. M. Ambiguity, meaning, this fallacy occurs when a statement is so vague or ambiguous that it is difficult to determine its meaning. Example: some chicken and vegetables, please. This sentence can be interpreted as asking for some food that contains chicken and vegetables, or it can be interpreted as asking for some chicken and some other vegetables.